have the live pulled up on my computer screen as well, so I'm going to wait for that to populate up here. Let's Summon Dinner is in the house. Hello, Sparkle Flare. We have a little bit of a lag, I can tell already, because it has not come up on my side yet. As soon as it does, which it just now has, I am going to get straight into the giveaway so that the replay crew doesn't have to wait to see who won. I know you guys always usually do a bunch of congrats in the chat. I don't know if those will necessarily show up in the replay so that the person can see them. So we are going to get, let me mute myself. I'm distracting myself here. So I left the mug in the pantry. So 2 seconds, I'm going to go grab it. Okay, so this is what we're giving away. We do have ceramic mugs hand thrown that we are going to have as a pre-order coming up very soon. This is kind of what they look like. This is the shape. This is the size. This is the logo, but it is going to be a different color. It's like a green, like a really nice earthy green, a brighter green with kind of a seafoam greenish blue on the top, and I'm going to be opening that pre-order in a couple weeks. So we had previously gotten these mugs through Teespring. They're fine, they're just not these. So we need to make some room in our pantry, or in our, I keep saying pantry, but in my cupboard, for the mugs that we actually use. So we are going to pass this one on. In order to have entered, you would have had to go on the Q&A that we had last Friday and make a comment regarding coffee or tea, because along with the mug, we are giving away either a sample of our tea, it'll be a decent sized sample, or a sample, a whole bag of the Beulah ground coffee. This is a Guatemalan. We get this in a subscription. We get way too much, not way too much. So I have 2 bags coming a month. They are starting to stack up. I just know that if we got 1 bag a month, I would probably be a few days at the end of the month without coffee. That is unacceptable. And so we get the 2 bags a month, and we do have a little bit of excess. So I remembered I had 2 of these mugs, and I considered doing 2 giveaways. I gave my other mug to my aunt, so I don't have another one. I just have one little giveaway to do, and you would have already entered. So I am going to be doing a random comment picker from that video right now. And the comment has to reference the giveaway. Like, I like tea, or I like coffee, or something to that effect is what I asked people to comment to enter themselves in the giveaway. I see the chat is moving. I'm not ignoring you. I'm just going to get straight into the giveaway. So I'm going to turn, I already have the link loaded. Don't forget to hit the like button. Thank you, Tater. Okay. So here's our random comment picker. There's you guys. And I already have the link loaded. So let me find my cursor here. We're going to paste the YouTube link. We do have a few flies since it got warmer here. Okay, anything goes. Let's do, we don't need to include replies because that will just be me most of the time. And go. Looks like there were 126 comments on that video. Now, if this comment doesn't have a reference to coffee or tea or an obvious entry to the giveaway, we are going to choose another one. I love coffee. Oh, I know who this is. That's awesome. So that Phipps RT. I know who that is. Guys, what's awesome is this is the person that used to own this farm. That's who that is. That is very cool. Very cool. So congrats to Rochelle. Congrats, congrats. I love that. I love that a lot. That's super special. So she loves coffee. So this is going to be going out to Rochelle. She lives in Washington now. And that's super special. I can't get over that. There's a lot of comments, as you saw, and to have her get picked, that's very neat. Yeah, that's her. I see Jessie. I see GWP. So that's super neat. Actually, I don't recall seeing that comment. So I don't know. That might have been one of the ones that I've missed, since there's been a nice influx of people coming to the channel. There's been a lot of comments that I have not been able to keep up with. It's a good thing. It is a little bit sad. So I don't have anything to do for a little while. If you guys want to kind of have like a live Q&A session, I'm fine with that. If you have questions, I haven't seen them. The chat is moving kind of fast. Ask it again so that I can see it. I do have I have a cheat sheet because I have a bad memory of things to chat about. Should you guys not have too many questions, I'm going to pop out the chat though so I can read it better since I have bad eyes. There we go. So I have been getting quite a few questions about our mushrooms and how they are doing. So initially we were sent by Anthony Surrency, who has Druidry Farms. He sent me a bunch of mushrooms. There were wine cap mushrooms, which are in the garden right now, in the raised bed garden. And then there were lion's mane and pink oyster mushrooms and the blue-green oyster mushrooms. Everything is going great. I actually just pulled the pink oyster mushrooms inside. They were outside in our shed. They prefer a warmer temperature, and so I've stuck them on a heat mat trying to get a second flush out of them, because everything that we got, we can get one harvest off of for sure, but we should be able to get up to 5 harvests off of the same mushroom blocks, which really adds a lot of value. I didn't know that you could do that with those things, and so we have already gotten a couple harvests off of our blue oyster mushrooms, and I did just do our first harvest of lion's mane, put that through the freeze dryer, and so we're going to be getting another harvest of those as well. Okay, I see some questions. So, how did you get into the breeds of goats that you have? So the first set of goats that we got, we purchased them from Living Traditions Homestead. And they just happened to have Nigerians. If they had Nubians, I would have Nubians. If they had La Manchas, I would have had La Manchas sooner. It was just an opportunity that came up, and I really wanted to snag that opportunity, and Nigerians is what they had, which I am not mad about that. I really like Nigerian dwarves. I would have wanted some anyway if I had not gotten them in the first place, because of their butterfat content in their milk is very high. I can tell when we add more Nigerians into the mix, because our milk quality is that much better, and our cheese, like we get so much more cheese when there's more Nigerians in the mix, for sure. And I want to do a milk test. It's a little bit complicated. I need to talk with my friend Megan about her and I both taking a class to be certified to oversee a milk test, because even the 1-day milk test, you have to have someone oversee your test that's been trained every 12 hours for 3 milkings. And it's just, when you live in the middle of nowhere and everybody who is also into goats lives really far away, that's harder to manage. But Megan and I live really close, and so we might do that. I haven't asked her yet, but I was going to ask her soon. She might be listening now. I don't know if that's Megan or Reagan, who was on GWP with the little wrench. That's them. Okay, so that's how I got into that. Belle has asked, how's the crochet going? Well, funny you should ask. I've got it sitting right next to me. So you guys have seen this hat. This is knit. I knit this hat, and I got to wear it for a week, and now it's warm. So I don't know if we're going to get to wear it again this season. I hope so, honestly. I probably will for some of the births that we have. So we've got 3 goat births in February. And then this is what I've been working on recently. See this? Can you see it? Hold on. This is going to be a scarf, and it's blackberries. This is wool. This is superwash wool, and I'm pulling it out presently. But isn't that cool? It's going really well. I make little dents in progress on that every day. Every day. Howdy, y'all. Just happened to be home. No need for coffee or tea. Cheers. Hi, Richard. What have you already started for seeds? We are relatively close in proximity, and I have analysis paralysis. That's funny you should ask what I've already started for seeds. I started 4 different varieties of kale. Can't remember what they all are. And I started some broccoli and a little bit of cabbage, and that was it. Because what we really want is broccoli. And so I decided I was going to go all in and plant tons of it. I did a whole tray of it. Well, I started them inside, and this is my first time starting seeds without a humidity dome because I noticed that quite a few people don't use them. I always have, but I've also always had problems with things like algae growing on the top of the soil, which has not always presented an issue. I just was trying to see what happens if I do it differently. Turns out when I do it differently and you have a cold front come in for a week and your heater never stops running, your seedlings die. So I have about a third of the seedlings that I started. I started 2 full trays of seeds, and a third of them are okay. And I just moved them to the greenhouse. There's a little bit more humidity in there. But I'm going to be starting some more broccoli very soon. And it's the gypsy hybrid. That's really what I want to grow. It's supposed to be heat tolerant. And so when our summers come on hard and fast, hopefully these guys will actually form a head instead of bolting. And I do want to start a little bit more cabbage. One of my kids really likes red cabbage, so I'm trying to get red cabbage going. I have a little in the greenhouse. It's very little. I don't know if it's going to come to a head before I need that space for my spring and summer garden. We're just going to have to see. Okay. Are you going to do the squash lane again this year? What I'm putting on the lane, which is that really long, for those of you who don't know, I have a spot in between 2 different pastures that was, I had to mow all the time, and I figured maybe I'll just grow in it. And it did really well this past season. It's basically straight clay. I was shocked that it did so well. I need to amend the space. I may decide only to amend the planting holes and do something that is going to be a nitrogen fixer like a bean. So I was thinking about doing like black eyed peas or pink eyed peas or something of the like up the whole lane. I don't know if that's what I'm going to do. I'm still trying to come up with that in my mind, but that might be what I decide to do because they don't necessarily need a lot of nutrition and they can give a lot of nutrition back. Do you want to say hi?
Hello.
Levi's home. That's all you get. Hello. Okay. Do you still use software to plan your planting or your plant planning? I guess either way it works. I might have skipped a question, but I'll go back. I only use that once a year. They did just do a bunch of updates. It's called Hortisketch. It's by Garden Savvy, and we are affiliates for them. I found it a little hard to use last year, but I've been talking to them off and on throughout this year, asking for certain updates and things. One of the issues that I was having is you could tell the software, hey, I want to plant tomatoes, but you couldn't designate what types of tomatoes. That's very important to me. I wanted to know I was putting this variety here, that variety there, and there was no way to really write that out in the program. They have fixed that. They've also fixed it to where you can override the plant spacing and plant your stuff like more like a square foot gardener type method. You weren't really able to do that before. It told you to, I can't remember. It was more designed for like market gardeners, I think, initially, but they're seeing that the homesteader really has different needs, and so they have done some updates with that. And I will be talking about that at some point in February. So, and I hope I like it. I'm pretty sure I'm going to like it better this year because I do like it, but it just had some things that needed tweaking, and which they've done. Okay, that was the next question. How does Nigerian milk taste versus cow's milk? Our doe's supposed to have her kid in a couple months. The store-bought cow's milk, my sister-in-law, she says it perfect. She says it tastes dead. There's nothing in it. You can tell. To me, it tastes like nothing. And so it's very, it depends on what they eat, I will say, but it's very rich. It's very creamy, and it has almost like a buttery type flavor to it. Super, super good. I love it. You might need to go slow at first because it's so rich. You might find that your gut needs a little bit of adjusting time to fresh and raw cow's milk. A lot like when you take in anything like fermented that has extra probiotics in it, you need to go slow. I would do the same with raw milk for sure. Hello, everyone. Finally making it to another live. There's Brittany. Hello. Oh, y'all. But I will answer more questions in a second. How many people are in here? 42. Perfect. Okay. Do you guys remember that I can give away free memberships? Because I remember it was right before Calamity died that, sorry, I've got a few flies in the house because it's so warm here. we can give away memberships now as creators that give you a free month of what our membership perks are, which for us, it includes early access videos. I can only post a day in advance because usually as soon as I record something, I edit it and put it up so it's rapid anyway. But early advanced videos, we have a Discord for our members. We have the cute little emojis and things, behind the scenes photos, and I do a live every Saturday with our members. So let me see if I can figure that out really fast. I think you have to be here and you may need to opt in to receive a gifted membership. And I've never done it because you can only do it on a live. And so, okay, membership gifting. You have 10 memberships to gift. Okay, gift 5 now. Boop. It looks pretty basic. All right, your gift has been announced. I don't know what that means. Okay, it randomly picks them. It picked me. I need to kick myself off the membership. That's my personal channel, if you see that. But we have Let's Summon Dinner, Belle, and myself, and Christy Fearman. I will try to figure out how to boot myself off of there. Because what the algorithm does is it selects the people that interact with your channel the most. And I do check our videos and make sure that they are sound with my personal channel to make sure that they're good to go. Remove. Hide user, no. Add as a moderator report, go to channel. Which is funny because my personal channel is not in this chat right now. I removed the comment, but let's see if I can give away another 5. Yay! Look at you guys with your little hoof prints. I love it. Okay, I'm going to see if I can give away another 5. $, membership gifting, gift 5. Okay, I can do that every month, which I think is cool. And they just put that out there. Yay, DWP, you are gifted a membership. Maj, Connie's Crazy World, the Schmidstead, and Anthony. Yay, that's the mushroom guy, Anthony Cerency. So there, that's so fun and so cool. Oh, and Sparkle Flare is gifting memberships too. So you have to either be the owner of the channel, which is a new thing for YouTube, or you have to already be a member in order to gift members. So there you go. That is really fun. We already have had 29. And so adding the rest of you to it, my little sign that I have at the end of videos, I need to figure out how to do it because now it's so big, which I'm so grateful for, but I'm having to make the list shrink and it's hard to see. So I need to figure that out. Yeah, you've got a membership, and I'm glad some of you are here that are getting that membership. Greatest ever. Yes. This is fun. I recognize everybody, which makes sense because, like I said, the algorithm picks them. I don't. And they pick. There you go. Hey, Brenda, you'd be able to tell if you had I think you get a notification and you would get a hoof print at the end of your username. Maybe next month, but this month it looks like the algorithm has not selected you. Next month they should, because Brenda, you're here a lot. And like I said, they go by how much you interact with the channel, which you do a lot. A lot of you guys do, which I'm really grateful for because that helps. That helps. Okay, I got to see if I missed any. I know there were questions and I got sidetracked with the gifted memberships. Okay. Where did Jeanette go? I'm so sorry, Jeanette. Uh-oh. Hey, everyone, I'm just lurking. Jeanette, I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. Jeanette's cat passed away. She's one of our members. I can remember losing Punt, and that was very hard. How much do y'all have for the goats? Also, meat rabbits, how much did you start with? How much land? Oh, I missed that word. How much land? We have 9 1/4 acres here, and 6 of it is fenced off for the goats. So I will be talking about this at some point during the goat husbandry series. I'm getting my wheels turning on helpful videos for that playlist. For our land and our barn, we can have about 30 goats out where the big green barn is. and where all the like the pond pasture and things are. You could technically get away with more if you did like a rotational grazing type situation. We have loosely entertained the idea of figuring something like that out for the summer months, but you can have about 5 head per acre, not rotationally grazing them, and it's be good for the worm load. If I only kept them to the front pasture, which is about an acre and a quarter, they'd eat it really far down, and it would be a lot. It would be a lot of poop for the land. It would be too much nitrogen for the land, and it would be a lot as far as worm loads go for the goats. So one of the ways, and I'll just get into this real quick because that's probably going to be another question if it hasn't already been asked. This is one of the ways that we prevent worms on our farm naturally during the growing season. So it's been warm, but my goats right now are essentially on a dry lot. There's nothing dry about it, but they're not eating forage off of the ground because it's not there. They're just eating hay right now. So I don't really worry about it, even though the temperatures are up a little bit. But when the grass starts growing and they do start grazing, we're going to add this bioworma to their feed. Premier One sells this. We are not affiliated. I would like to be because I really do think that this is great. And what it does is it's essentially fungal. It's like a fungal microbe that they eat. And what it does is it will, when the eggs for the worms hatch out in the goat's poop, the fungus comes out and eats those larvae before they even have a chance to crawl up the blades of grass and then be re-ingested by the goat. This worked awesome for us last year. I wanted to use it for a full season before I really voiced my opinion on it. So I'll be talking more about that. But that's a great option. We have 9.25 acres. 6 of it is goat related. Well, 6 of it's for the big goat barn. The big goat barn. I do have some smaller paddocks for the small goats. How many rabbits did I start out with? We probably had a trifecta. We've changed a lot for the rabbitry in the last 4 years. We've had rabbits for 4 years now. I probably started out with a trifecta, which is 2 females and a male. And that's a really good number. I like to give myself a little bit of insurance. I don't ever like to have one of anything, like at all. So I have 2 bucks and 4 does right now, just in case something happens. You don't want the whole program to crumble, like right off the bat. Hello, I'm glad I did not miss the live check. Hello. 24 BIDY. Maplewood Homestead. What's the next animal for your homestead? It's not going to be like a new animal, like a brand new breed or whatever, a new critter. I do have a little buckling that I have reserved. It's a mini La Mancha. He's an F4, and he is supposed to be born around February 8th. He is the only thing that I'm considering adding this year right now, unless I have some bee colonies that don't make it through winter. I have 2 right now. So far, they're still alive, which is great. They literally have about a month left before we start to see red maple starting to bloom. And if they can make it to that, they're probably going to be fine. So we're waiting. But if, like, let's say my colonies, there's like a late freeze or something and they don't live, I'll be getting another nuke of bees. But nothing different. Nothing different, I don't think. Hi from South Africa. Hi. I know I'm far up in the chat. I'm just trying to catch all the questions. But then we got into me giving away stuff. All right. Maplewood says, you're too cute. Oop. Oh, look at all. You guys are gifting memberships. Thank you. All right. I'm just scrolling to find when are the next goats due. So our first due date is February 5th. It is Christine. Christine's udder doesn't look like Christine is due in like 10 days. The thing is, she could pop at the last minute. She also was with Havoc for about 2 months. So I saw her be bred, and then I never saw it again, but I left her with him. I can feel babies. She's definitely bred. So either she's going to go on the 5th or around the 5th and pop her udder like all of a sudden, or she may have babies towards the end of February. We'll see. There's that, and then Elpis is the 9th of February. Talia is the 13th. And then we have a little bit of a break until March. How did you choose the Californian rabbits, and do you know anything about the chinchillas? I do not know anything about chinchillas. I had one that was labeled a chinchilla off of YouTube. It was small, not YouTube, off of Craigslist. It was small. I don't think it was a purebred chinchilla. She was fine. She was just not that big, and her babies were not that big. She had very big litters, but they were very small bunnies. So I don't think she was purebred for anything. I got into the Californians because there are two really nice breeders, or there were two really nice breeders of meat rabbits near me. There's one that does New Zealand's, and then there was one that did Californians, and I had purchased rabbits from both. And in trying out both breeds, there's nothing wrong with either one of them. They're both wonderful. My friend that did the Californians was getting out of rabbits, and I decided on the Californians so that this area had that as an option still, because she's the only breeder for miles around, like miles. People come sometimes from like Indiana and stuff to get bunnies. My friend Mike, he's in Cerulean, Kentucky. He has New Zealand's. So I was like, well, I'll let Mike do the New Zealand's and I'll do the Californians. And we get people, we network back and forth, people wanting one breed or the other, and it works out really well. So the area does have access to both breeds should they want. That's how I landed on those. I have my first baby rabbits. One has 9 and one had 7. Congrats. Billy says, cool, I didn't know your goats came from Kevin and Sarah. Yes, the only one I have left from their herd is Barely. Barely is on my cull list. The issue with Barely, I have a plan for a video really soon on that. She was bred with a little bit less consideration on her like I feel like she was bred, her dad and her mom were bred together just because they weren't related. It wasn't necessarily to do improvements on the breed. And it was fine. Like, if your goal is milk, that is all you need. My goal is a little bit different. I do want milk first and foremost, but I do have nice quality animals here, and I think it would be silly to not try to improve the breeds that we have here. She's got my least favorite udder, so I did breed her to Nefarious, who's our blue cactus buck. He's obviously an udder buck, and so he's going to improve on her, and I will be replacing her with her daughters coming up soon. And then we won't have any more of our Living Traditions goats here, but we will have pieces of them for sure. Have you ever raised turkeys? I have raised turkeys. Turkeys eat like nobody's business. A lot. Like, turkeys eat a lot. And we had blue slate turkeys, and I've also raised some of those broad-breasted. If I were to raise turkeys again, I would go more with the broad-breasted again. I did not find that the heritage breed turkeys were worth it. Yes, they can hatch out their own babies, but they eat so much food trying to just stay alive. I don't know what it is. It's not worth it. I know turkey poults are very expensive. Keeping adults is also very expensive. So it kind of just depends on, do you want the sustainability factor of keeping your own turkeys? We're fine without it. We're fine without it, at least for right now. Oh, Jesse got a membership too. The Stone Soup Substitutions. Okay. The 2 male trifecta are what I started. So, unfortunately, my sister-in-law, she started with a trifecta too, but one of her females was actually a male, and we figured that out after much trying to breed the poor thing. She brought the bunny over to me because she's like, dang, I can't get this rabbit to breed. Maybe you can. And we flipped it over, and I was like, ooh, that's because this is a boy. His name was Harmonia. We do not have Harmonia anymore. Tips for milking Nigerians. We're used to Nubians, but the Nigerians are kidding in May. I hope they have longer teats. With the Nigerian, sometimes it's easier to get a hold once you have released some of the milk already. And sometimes you can't really do that with your hands. So if you get, depending on the size of the teats, a human manual breast pump works awesome for relieving a little bit of milk out of the udder so that you can get your hand around like the base of the udder right here. So this is the teat and this is the base of the udder. You want to be able to squeeze up here to give yourself a little bit of something to grab onto, and then you can milk. But if it's really tight, you can't get up that high. And so using the human manual pump works really well for goats with small teats. Goats with bigger teats, it doesn't work as well for, just because it's a human pump isn't designed for, as one of our members say, sweet potato teats. It's not designed for that. Like, what? Okay, hold on. How did you end up with the mushrooms? I haven't tried growing my own yet, but after seeing how you did, I'm definitely interested in trying. I'm in Laurel, Mississippi, Zone 8. They were awesome. I talked about it a little bit in the beginning of the live. The mushrooms have done great. I have ordered more, and they should be here tomorrow. I can't remember all of the types, but reishi is one of them. And I'm very excited because we can get into the medicinal part of it too, which we have not done much. I do have some of the lion's mane that are maturing in the buckets. And I believe I just brought home some Everclear so that I can make a tincture from lion's mane. But it's going very well. Highly, highly suggest you get into it. Okay, I just recently found your channel because I recently got a couple of Nigerian dwarf goats. I love your channel so much. Thank you. How do I become a member? So if you click the join button, I'm not sure if you can see the join button underneath this live. Every single tier has the same perks. Everybody has the same perks no matter how much you are able to pay. So don't worry about that. Sorry, the chat's moving a little fast on my end. I think I was missing some stuff. But yeah, click down there. You can see the perks. I think it's $2.99 for the cheapest one. We just gave away all of the amount of free memberships that I could do for this month. I don't know if it rolls around with the calendar month. It might. But we'll have to try and do a live every month so that we can give those away, because I can only give them out on lives. Hi, Heather. Hi, Hillary. I haven't seen you in forever. Okay, I would love to breed Californias, but there are no breeders in my country. Man, where are you? Maj, we are in Kentucky, USA. Southwestern Kentucky. Why did the bird box pumpkins, the birdhouse gourd not dry the right way? Was it too wet? They got a late start, and so basically the season ended before they were done. The same thing happened with my loofahs. They just weren't able to dry out on the vine. Some of them are actually, the birdhouse gourds are looking pretty good though. They're just thinner than I expected. They're more fragile than I expected once they dry out. But I'm sure that there's a way to cure them, to harden them. I really haven't looked much into it because they're just now starting to be actually dry. It's been a long time. I think I read that they need 6 months to dry. Are you on Top Chat or Live Chat? I have no idea where I'm at. Top Chat. I am on Top Chat. Uh-oh. Should I fix that? Why Sage and Stone? So when coming up with our channel name or our farm name, I wanted to use our last name in it because I feel like it's a name where it's easy to kind of meld into branding because it's simple. And so there is a song by Avi Kaplan. It's called Sage and Stone. It's not necessarily one of my most favorite songs, especially of his. I think he has better songs out there. But when I saw the title of it, I said, ooh, I like that. And so that's what I put into YouTube. And that's it. It's kind of a basic, like, there's nothing really, I'm looking at my logo. But there's nothing really super special about it, but that's how I landed on Sage and Stone. Jessica says, I know you grow a lot of your own food, but do you check the ingredients and what you buy at the store? I'm just wondering how far down the rabbit hole you go. I used to care more about stuff like that, and I don't think there's anything wrong with caring more about stuff like that. Problem is, when 2020 happened, the things that we were used to buying were gone from the store. You could not get them. And so at that point, I was so stressed about the food that I could not get anymore that I decided and realized that the stress over my food was not worth the mental toll that it took. And so I released the hold that being picky about food had on me, and decided that mental health was going to win. And I have never looked back, and I have been so, so happy. Have I gained weight? Yeah. Yeah, I have. But actually, I have not gotten unhealthy necessarily as a result, not yet, and that could come. But I had a blood draw last summer, and everything looked really good. I did have a little bit of kidney issue come up, but that has been my life for at least a decade. I used to be prone to kidney infections and kidney stones. That's not a thing anymore, thankfully, but yeah, I don't worry too much about that. I do have my weekly Pepsi. Every Friday we go to the store, our little Amish store, and they sell little bottles of Pepsis there, and I pick one up. And we will get pizza, like the ones you get from the freezer section, and eat those. And so we like ramen noodles from time to time. So we find too that because we grow a lot of our own food, that there's a balance in that that's not necessarily a bad thing. Not at all. Oh, Anthony is telling you what I ordered for mushrooms. Enoki, chestnut mushrooms, brown beach mushrooms, gold oyster mushrooms, and antler reishi. That's what I have coming to me. And I'm very excited. I'm late. Hello from Manitoba, Canada. Hello. It is cold, I'm sure. Okay, it's better to be on live chat. I will try to figure out because I haven't seen anything new come up in a second. So let's see. Excited to see how the wine caps do with your asparagus. Me too. Wine caps, they're actually kind of big. I was looking at a few videos on wine caps so that when they come up, I will know what's going on. I'm sure Anthony will get many emails like, is this right? Is this what I should be harvesting and eating? But they're quite large. They're bigger than anything that I've seen in my garden. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to know very clearly what's what there. How long have you been homesteading? So I raised our first batch of meat chickens and grew my first garden here in the summer of 2019. And so that's it. I did grow up on like a small acreage up in Maine. My dad had a small garden. We had horses. We had some chickens, but I didn't really have much involvement in any of that. Come here, Boo. So I did grow up a little bit. One of my friends had a dairy farm, and we played with cows all the time. So I have a little bit of in my background, but not, you don't want to be but not, it's not like I grew up with it. Are you okay?
I don't know.
What?
I was hurting my head.
You was? Were you on the trampoline?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to go grab an ice pack?
No, it doesn't. No. I don't.
Okay. Let's see if I can figure out being on top chat or live chat. I need to. Oh, I hit the button. Live chat. There we go. There, now I'm on live chat. If that is better, I am here. I wonder if I should fix that on. I wonder if I have to fix that on all the lives that we do, because we have a lot of lives. The next membership live is tomorrow morning. It's at 9 a.m. Central for the members. Okay. How long? Oh, got that. How long have you been homesteading? I have giant chinchilla girl. Oh yeah. So 24BIDY is talking about the rabbits that she has. There. So I think I'm caught up on questions. Keep them coming. I'll be here as long as we need to be. I already talked about the seedlings. This is my cheat list of things to talk about. We already talked about Christine and how I'm pretty sure that she's due February 5th. She's going to have that udder pop though. I also wanted to thank you guys so much for sending things through our Amazon wish list. We have gotten so many boxes the last 2 weeks. It's been a little bit, it's like overwhelming, humbling, gratitude. Like there's this emotion that I can't put words to in my heart. And I have tried to send thank you notes to everyone, either personally or through Amazon. Some of the packages don't have the little slip though. So if you've sent something and you have not heard from me, because this wasn't in the box, but thank you. Thank you so much. we're absolutely spoiled, 100%. There are links to our wish list and our storefront in every description box on every video. And the storefront is like products that we show a lot in our videos that we get a lot of questions about, so you know where to purchase it, or you know what it is. You don't have to purchase it through Amazon, but if you're wondering, you know, what my bread pans are, I've got those listed on there, and you can see that. So that's nice. Fallen Angel wants to give you hugs, Shaika.
Mommy, can I give some of these to baby?
Yes. Can you see that? This is one of the things we were sent recently. Papaya treats for our bunnies. And so Addie wants to give one. We have a house rabbit. There's a lot of people that don't know that.
Baby.
His name is Favy. And he is a Rex. Here, can I show Favy? Can I show Favy real quick?
Baby made a mess.
Favy made a mess? Okay. Here he is. He's eating his papaya. Don't give him too many, okay? Yeah, he dug in his litter box. So, there's our house bunny. He gets opened up most of the time. He's closed right now, and he loves hopping around.
Yeah, he's eating that. He likes it now.
Okay, how do you manage the time to garden with everything else going on in the schedule? I have to have like sprinklers or drip irrigation or something like that. I also have to have weed barriers. I can't be out there hand watering, and I cannot be spending a lot of time weeding because there just isn't enough time in the day. And also it gets incredibly hot here in the summer, and it's not healthy to be out in the middle of the day like that. So usually in the summer, we homeschool our kids here. I'll homeschool in the summer. Like if we're going to be stuck inside, we might as well be doing something like that. So I will. And so I just kind of have to do, things change, like my day shifts depending on the season. And with gardening, it does take systems like having automatic waters and drip irrigation and weed barriers, for sure.
What was wrong with this?
Yeah.
We are 45 minutes from you at Kentucky Lake, so I'm excited to see how it does for you with mushrooms so I can duplicate it. I'm sure it will work great. Anthony is very confident that we're going to have a good time, and I'm excited. I'm super excited. I want to put mushrooms everywhere because they work so well with the rest of the plants. They don't really compete for nutrients. In fact, they will feed the rest of the garden. I know you do sourdough. Do you just make bread or do you do other things? I mostly make bread. I have made these things called bialys before. They're kind of like, they're not a pastry, but they look like one. They look like a little Danish. And I've done them savory and I've done them sweet. I have done, what else have I done in the sourdough book? Do you remember? Levi's right there.
I wasn't paying attention to what you would.
Do you remember what else I've made sourdough? I can't remember. Not much beyond bread. I have entertained the, I have put the coffee cake. The sourdough coffee cake, that's with discard. That is good. I've made that too. But not too much beyond bread. I made bread yesterday and then I turned it into French toast last night. So it works. Oh, Hugo Homestead. Hey, Levi went to the P.O. box today and this finally came. This was, Hugo Homestead sent us a Christmas card. Look what the post office wrote on it. Put in wrong box. So the post office messed up and we just got your Christmas card. Thank you so much. They sent us a Christmas card and then little stickers. This one's actually heart-shaped. And then this one is round. There's a little heart-shaped cut in that one. So thank you very much. Okay. Do you or someone nearby have a few ducks to take care of the greenhouse for snails and slugs? The issue is I need that weed fabric in the greenhouse or else it's going to be bad. So I do have ducks. I have 2 of them. And I know that ducks can be good for snails and slugs. I do worry about them a little bit with seedlings because I have heard that they will go after seedlings. And that will be a bad time. But I don't think it would be good for them to be just on weed fabric all the time, especially pooping and stuff. That's just not a good area for them, I don't think. But I may, because I've thought about fencing in my garden and other things that are semi-important to me, and letting the goats out like everywhere. I have entertained that in a very short window of my thought. But I could put the ducks in the garden at that point and kind of test it out. But I'm nervous about it. How'd you come up with your kids' names? Levi, how'd we come up with our kids' names? One of them's on his lap right now. So Levi has come up with a lot of the animals' names, and I have come up with the children's names. And like, it's kind of just like our homestead. I just hear something and I kind of like it. The only child that has a name that is more meaningful is Shika. And that's the little one who got in a tussle with his brother, apparently. He was just on my lap. His name is the last name of the neighbors that I grew up next to, and they had like a retired sheep farm. And I say a retired farm because they didn't have sheep when I was playing on their land, but I would play there hours and hours all day, just on their farm. And it was fond memories growing up. We had raspberries that we would pick there. They had a pool that we would play in, and they had chickens, and it was a good time. So it was just like, I wanted to hang on to a little bit of that and name him Shika, which is their last name. What camera would you recommend getting into do videos with? I've got people asking me to start doing tutorials. I have a GoPro Hero 9. It's right here. I get asked this a lot. And so this is what I have. This is what looks at you, what you guys look at me through all the time. And it has the media mod on it. And it has this media mod here and the max lens mod right here. This is what I have. And it works. Now, every time I turn it on, I need to make double sure that it's communicating with the mic. I have had mic issues in the past, but I figured out that I just need to make sure that the GoPro sees this add-on before I start recording, and it works. It works great. I really like it. You can find used GoPros and older model. Like, this is old at this point. I've had it for 3 years. You can find them on like eBay and stuff. Rabbit dispatch day here. Well, it's a good day. It's a good day. Filling the freezer is a good thing. Okay. Oh yeah, GWP is correct too. You can do a lot with a smartphone. I am cheap and I get the cheap phones, so I can't do a lot with my phone. I did start my channel with my phone though. A lot of earlier videos are not visible anymore. Some earlier videos I have made members only, so the members can see some of those. They're questionable quality. If you have the funds and you want to do a camera, I would get something like a GoPro. But if you have an expensive phone, do that. A lot of people have iPhones. I forget that a lot of people have iPhones. You can get away with an iPhone, for sure. Brandy says we homeschool too. It's the easiest thing. It's the easiest thing for our lifestyle, for sure. Did you get Christmas card from Canada? I did, Brenda. Thank you. Yes, we did get a few Christmas cards, and they probably are tucked in my. I've got a little bag of goodies behind my computer. Okay. Making sure I'm not missing comments because we're talking about cameras and stuff, which is all good. The GoPro would probably be better than my mobile potato. He's got a mobile potato. Okay. So yeah, I think it would be helpful because there are people with lots of questions, and I don't really know the answer to them. I know that this is Anthony. This is the guy that we got our mushrooms through, Druidry Farms. On Instagram, you can send him a DM, and I have been in communication with him off and on as we've been growing our mushrooms, and I've been learning a lot. But I think, Anthony, it would relieve a lot off of you if you had some of your more commonly asked questions on a video. You could just send them the video. That's how I kind of started with YouTube, because I was selling rabbits before I really got into YouTube, and there was a lot of people with a lot of questions, and so I'd make a video, different videos that I have now, and then I would just send the people the videos, and then it ended up taking off, which is good. Bye-bye, Poison Breaker. Have a good day. I just found your channel and saw that you were in Kentucky just like me. I just got a 15 by 32 greenhouse and was wondering if you had many videos on growing in a greenhouse. I do. They're not going to be specific to, they're not going to be searchable on like how to grow in a greenhouse. I just have my garden tours from the last 2 years. We started our greenhouse out as it was more of a livestock shelter its first season because I just stuck it in the middle of our field and it was full of grass. It was probably about 2.5 feet high of buttercup in the greenhouse when we first put the pigs in there. And we bought these 3 cootie pigs who were they were each like this big, like a loaf of bread when we first put them in there, and they spent the summer in there. And then when they got really big, like it was bare. They made that greenhouse bare, which was awesome. We moved them out into the pig pen, laid down some weed fabric after amending a little bit and tilling a little bit, and then we grew. I didn't really this is my first time with a greenhouse. If we get another greenhouse in the future, which really isn't on the plan, but I would do a more comprehensive thing because I would be coming from a place of like understanding. But usually when I'm learning something, it's not my favorite thing to turn on the camera. And because I know that a lot of people look to people with a camera and a will to post on the internet as like an authority, but we're not. Usually we're just people with a camera learning alongside you. And so I like to be able to present content that I can answer questions about and actually give good information on. And at the time, growing in a greenhouse wasn't that. It was just showing our experience. But our garden tours from the last couple of years will show you what we did and how well everything did. Our garden tours from 2022, that was our first summer growing in the greenhouse. It did awesome. It was so amazing. Those tomatoes and those peppers were amazing. And not a lot of people saw that that growing season because we weren't hitting with the algorithm at that point. But those are really great videos to watch. If I sold my dehydrated sourdough on Etsy, do you think it would sell? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Make sure that it rehydrates well. I was going to sell some of our sourdough starter that I dehydrated last year, and I have a whole bunch of it in the freezer. But when I went to rehydrate it for myself this winter, it didn't do, so I didn't list it on the website. So just make sure that it works, like your batch works, and then yeah, it would sell. Have you ever tried raising rabbits in a colony? We're about to start raising rabbits as a meat source because plucking chickens is the worst. Amen. And curious if you have any advice. I would do it now if our land was conducive to it. The only spot that I would potentially have to raise rabbits in a colony that does not completely fill with water a lot of the year is in my barn. And I need that for my goats. I'd rather have it for my goats. Like I could put them in like our kidding stalls right now used to be one big horse stall, and I've seen people put a rabbit colony inside a really big horse stall, and that worked really well for the people that I saw do it. But I need that space for my goats. Otherwise, our land, like the rabbits wouldn't even be our rabbits wouldn't even be able to dig their own burrows because they would fill with water. Our land is just too saturated. I love the idea though. Tater says, I'm going to build a small greenhouse just to start my seeds in. And see, we've thought about that too. I did put these little mini, like stackable greenhouses in my big greenhouse for seed starting. And that's where I just moved some of my seedlings to. I still need to run out and grab frost tender seedlings sometimes from that because I don't have it heated. My big greenhouse is not heated. I could heat a smaller greenhouse because it would be worth it. The big one, it's just, I know there's different ways to heat greenhouses and whatever. I may rather build a smaller greenhouse for seedlings specifically. And we've talked about that. We may do it. I just don't know where I'd put it at this point. I want it close to the house. It would almost have to be unless I had solar power out to it. Growing book by book, one of the things I appreciate the most about you is that you give great information. Thank you. I try. That's why I was a little bit apprehensive with the raising the goat raising series because there's a lot of different ways to do it, and I'm still learning myself, but it's going slowly but surely. It's going. Sparkle flare. I think you should film while you're learning. It would show us what could go wrong if it does. And I've started doing that a little bit more lately as I've gotten more comfortable on YouTube. It's just, for me, it's very important to be upfront about the fact that it failed. If it failed, like I posted it was in the middle of Vlogmas, where I had a soap fail. It went wrong. People clicked it and watched it fail, and that was good. And I hope it gave some people some encouragement. Because, yeah, that's another thing, is you could see people who post on the internet and assume that they have everything right all the time. They get everything right all the time, and that is definitely not the case. So there's definitely a realness factor that I'm getting a lot more comfortable with in the last year or so. That poor baby. Come here. Do you need mommy again? Did Daddy...
He tried to climb off it.
He tried to climb off Daddy's chair and missed. He missed the whole floor. He's fine.
I know, I'm sorry.
Okay. I think okay, have you ever tried to make rabbit hide yarn from strips? I didn't know that was a thing. I'm gonna write it down. Because, no, but I would like to. That's neat. That's very neat. Rabbit hide yarn. Actually, I have hides that have been salted for like 3 weeks that I have not dealt with. I don't know if they're going to be okay. The one I'm going to build is actually Texas Prepper 2's cattle panel greenhouse. Have you guys seen Tater? I'm trying to remember where you guys are. What do I do with their box? It's probably over there. What is their channel? Over on the other side of Kentucky, they just had their cattle panel greenhouse collapsed because of snow. Northwest Georgia, you'll be okay. It was, I can't remember the channel off the top of my head, but their cattle panel greenhouse sunk in, and you'd think that a cattle panel would bounce right back. They don't always. My cattle panel archway that leaned because of the weight of the gourds on it this summer, it's still leaning. It leans. Oh, I have a bunny question. I have a buck that is a bit older. I think he's around 5. I'm having such a hard time getting him to breed my girls. He wants to. He just doesn't seem to have any energy. He may need a diet. Yeah, he may need a diet. Sometimes they get tired. I've heard about 5 years is what you can, 5 or 6 out of a buck. They can live to be about 8, but they just get old and tired. But he may be a little fat. He may be a little fat. Give him, oh God, what type of rabbit is he? We feed, we have the 7-inch J feeders, and the rabbits get up to the hopper. The ones that don't have babies in them. It's just up to where the hopper starts. And it's probably too much because I have a tendency to overfeed things. But that's how much we feed, and our boys seem to be good with that. It might be a cup and a half, which is a lot. It's honestly a lot for an adult rabbit that's good at feed conversion like Californians are. Rachel asked me what seedlings I started. So I've only done a couple. I talked about it a little bit earlier. I've only done broccoli and some kales and some cabbage so far. The rest of the garden will get started by the end of February. And that will be, that's like to be determined. I know I really want to do peppers, and I really want to do more eggplant. I want to do a lot of eggplant this year. Have you ever tried to tan rabbit hides? Yes, I have. Presently still trying. I have done it. I've done the egg tan before. Problem is, when I started stretching the hides, the hair started falling out. And so I got as a gift these like hide tanning formula, and recently we butchered some rabbits and some goats, and I salted it, and I need to put the hide tanning formula on it if they're okay. They've been salted for like 3 weeks, and they're sitting in the greenhouse on that like airflow table that's in there. It's just made with 2x4s and wire, so they've got lots of airflow. They seem fine. They don't stink. They're just been salty crusty for like 3 weeks. goat question. 2 of the goats I just got are 6 and have been bred before, and they did great, but it's been 2 years since. Would you feel comfortable breeding them at that age? Absolutely. 6 is in their prime. Absolutely. Especially if their condition is really good and they seem healthy and lively, there's no problem. Goats do better when they are bred. They can have a tendency to get a little bit chunky, and then it's really hard to get weight off of a goat. They like to put their energy into something, and if there's nothing to, like babies or milk, that they are putting their production into, they tend to pack on weight. So I breed them, yeah. Christine, our La Mancha, she wasn't bred for 4 years. It took a bit to get her to breed again, but now she's settled really fast this year. If you have access to a digger, no, Anthony. Okay, he says if you have access to a digger, a geothermal would be an easy way to heat a greenhouse. The issue is it would become an Olympic-sized swimming pool in no time flat. We have really low land. Any hole dug is going to fill with water this time of year. I was actually just checked on our storm shelter because it's in the ground, and it's I did not want to get a concrete one because those can tend to leach sometimes, especially over the years. I told the storm shelter people, I said it has to be a boat. It needs to be water permeable because it will be surrounded by water much of the year because of how saturated our ground gets. So it's fine. It did not fill with water, but it would. If it had a leak, the entire thing would be full. Same thing with digging. I need to build up my gardens, not go down. I can't. It's a great idea if you live in like a well-drained area, though. I don't. Stiver's Homestead. Yes, it was Stiver's Homestead whose greenhouse fell in. I haven't gotten an update on that. If you do, I would definitely try to brace it. I don't know how. Maybe the normal hoop houses that I see people making with cattle panels, they just have bracing on the bottom, like the part that touches the ground. I would also put another brace about 3 feet up. In my greenhouse, it's called a hip board. That would help. And then my greenhouse also has something called purlins, which run the length of the greenhouse this way up top. Those kinds of supports would help in a load-bearing situation. And you could figure that out with the hoop, the cattle panel hoops. You could figure out how to do that. The pipe straps, I think that's what it's called technically. Levi's gone, but it's metal with holes in it. That'll be really valuable to be able to put stuff like that up and have it stay. How much does it cost to feed the rabbits you have? It's about $17 a bag for rabbit feed, and I probably go through 5 in a month. So I don't know. I have never done, that's one thing that I did not do for the Raising Rabbit series was like a cost analysis, because it really just depends. It depends heavily on how you raise them in your location and the time. I felt like we were already entering like a point of inflation when I made that series, that it felt wrong to talk numbers because I just knew they were going to change. But that's what I pay. And we do have rabbits that we sell that make up for the cost of that. Maybe not completely, but they make up for it in what we don't have to buy at the grocery store as far as meat goes. Bye-bye, Schmidtstead. See you later. They've probably gone already. I have seen different videos about tree bark tanning. You could try that. Yeah, we don't have a lot of access to trees, but it may depend, because I got to think about the types of wood that are, I know there's different types of wood that are good. They have more tannins in them, and that's what you're trying to impart, those tannins into the hide to preserve them. Oh, silver fox. Okay. I would feed start with a half a cup a day and see how he is. Okay, yeah, try to feed your boy give him about half that and see how he does. If he eats it all and he's seeming like he's diving on the food the next day, like head first into it, give him a little bit more. Like, you don't want him to be in a situation where he's having a hard time, but he does need a diet probably. Salted hides are called green. They can last for years if done correctly. You should learn to brain tan. I would love to. That is something we will, once, these are things that I figure out behind the scenes, and then once I've figured it out, because these things can be so hard and so technical, and I have tried for years and still haven't figured it out. Once I do, I will be sharing. Once I figured it out for me, because we're also really humid here, and that plays a role too. And we have flies most of the year, which is a problem. Anthony says, I had to break off the kayak to get to work. Yeah. Down there were flood warnings in Louisiana and stuff. Scary. Rabbit hide yarn. Talk more. Do you know how to make it? It was somebody up there. The rabbit hide yarn. I know we've got lots of Googling to do, those of us that are interested in that. That's very cool. How big are the bags and how many rabbits are you feeding? They are 50-pound bags, and we feed 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 adults plus litters. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 litters right now. And it varies. So I don't have growing out rabbits right now. And I probably overfeed because I'm good at that. Do you think quail are worth it for a smaller homestead? Yes, I do. We love our quail. If I really would like a better setup for our quail. The setup that we have is fine, but I would like to improve upon it because I prefer quail rather than chickens. I prefer it a lot. We like the eggs better. It's just a little bit cumbersome. We have the little quail egg scissors. I don't know if you've seen those to open up the eggs, but I highly recommend quail. They lay really fast. They lay within about 6 to 8 weeks of hatching. They can be laying, which is awesome. Do you think, oh yeah. Bye-bye, Sparkle Flare. See you tomorrow. If you can figure out how to use privet bark for anything, you can come over and have all your want at my house. GWP Homestead has a lot of privet at their house. It's invasive, and we have none. I don't know how. There's none. And you guys are not that far from us. Yeah, stone soup substitutions. She has had quail in a small lot before, and it works well, very well. I apparently am a goat, says Jennifer R. I too pack on weight. Same. Pack on weight when you're not breeding. Oh, goodness. Bye, Brenda. Okay. How many goats to start with for beginners? So you really should have at least 2. Like I mentioned a little bit earlier, you may not have been here, but with the rabbits, I like to have more than I need just in case something happens. So they say that you need at least 2 goats. I would get 3 just in case something happens. Then you've always got 2. You've always got the minimum that you need. There's a phrase in homesteading, and 2 is 1 and 1 is none. That's what it is. So you kind of have to have I have that mindset. So if you've got 2, you might as well assume you've got 1. And if you've got 1, if something happens to it, you have none. And that's a good mindset when thinking about animals or plants or anything. Because, if you plant 12 broccoli plants, you might get 7 to maturity. So if you really want 12, maybe you should plant 15 or more. That works that way for animals too. I haven't seen Buster in the last 2 videos. How's he doing? He's good. He's muddy. He is intensely muddy because he's got plenty of places to get up off the ground. But one of the spots, and I don't think it's all mud. He's on the front porch. I don't think it's all mud. He's been sitting in the fire pit. Obviously, there's no fire in it, but he's all soot. Buster! Hi! See his butt? He's been sitting in the fire pit. So he's a good boy. He's a good boy. He's doing really good. He's been loving talking to the coyotes because it's coyote breeding season. He's been loving that. He is very cute. How old is Buster? He is going to be either 6 or 7 in February. When we got him, it was 2020, and he was turning 3. So he's going to be 7 He's going to be 7. So he's getting up there in age. He's a Great Pyrenees. He's getting up there. But we love him. He still runs and jumps and does all the things. You'd never know that he's an old man, but he's getting to be an old man as far as doggies go.
How does he know? Whoops, you clicked me.
Hang on, guys. Oops. How did you train him to stay home? I didn't train him. I did not train him. He came to me. Hold on just a second. Remove. Okay. There. He came to me kind of not by chance, but the story of Buster is he used to be owned by our neighbors who keep cattle. And they tried everything to try to keep him in with the cattle. Him and his brother Bear would not stay on the land at all. They just wouldn't. They tried to raise them as you should in the barn with the livestock and whatever, but they have grandkids that like loved on the puppy and whatever, and kind of he wasn't really the best training for a livestock guardian. So he wouldn't stay, and so they just kind of let him roam, and the town just sort of knew, oh, those are their dogs. Like it's a very small town here. And there were people in town that tried to adopt Buster, and they asked them and they gave him permission and stuff, but they tried to keep him in town. The lots are really small. It's like, it's not a city, but it's really small lots, and they tried to keep him inside, smaller fenced yards like you would see in a city, and he wouldn't stay. He would dig out. And so there was a time in 2020 when Buster was annoying the owner of the restaurant that lives in town. There's one restaurant in town. And she was saying, if that dog comes to my restaurant again, you're never going to see him around town again. Like, she was threatening to end the dog for no good reason. She said he was scaring her customers, which they weren't. There's no way he was scaring the customers. They all know him. And so I don't know really what her problem was. But so I asked my neighbors, I was like, hey, can I keep Buster? Can I try to keep him? She's like, yeah, people have been trying to keep him, but he won't stay. And I said, well, I'm gonna get him. He's gonna stay. So the next day, after I got permission from them next door, he was just on my front porch. And so I didn't have the things that I needed to keep him yet, but I had this really long, it was like a 40-foot cord that I stuck around his neck. And I stuck him to my porch, and I was like, stay. And I went to Tractor Supply, and I got one of those collars that has a beeper on it, and it has a buzzer. It does a shock. It doesn't anymore, but it did. And I did an in-ground line. So it's a wired perimeter that he can run. And when he gets close to the boundary line, the beeper goes off, and he stays because he doesn't want to get zapped. At this point, he can't get zapped because it's so loose. I have to keep, as the seasons go on, I have to loosen it and tighten it because he'll get a lot of, plush fur in the winter, and then he slims down in summer. I've left it loose because he listens to the beep so well. So he just hears the beep and he stays. So it's good. He stays. As long as the batteries work. Someone had just sent us more batteries. Thank you. So he shall stay. He would have stayed anyways, but that's very helpful. Miss Dog. Oh, you missed your dog. I passed about 10 or 12 years ago. He was a whopping 17 and a half. Was that a little dog, Tater? Because I know the little dogs can live longer. Hi, Heather. What's your chicken setup? I've been free ranging, but neighbor dogs have been attacking them lately. We do not free range our chickens for a couple reasons. One of the reasons, which we agree with our neighbor on, is that they destroy gardens and they eat his calf feed. So we keep our chickens penned up. We don't have a movable pen. This house came with a chicken coop that's stationary, and so that's what we have. It's a decently sized run and a pretty big coop too that has power in it. So that's what we have. Stationary chicken coop with a fenced in run. The fence is only like 4 feet high. We have clipped some wings, and we have pinioned some wings in the past, if you know what that is, and they stay. Good Simple Living has a video called Tanning or Pickling Hinds Using Salt and Alum. I really want to try her method. I had put a goat hide in salt and alum last year, and it worked. I haven't stretched it. It's just really hard. It's but it worked. I haven't done anything with it. German short hair. Oh, German short hair pointer. Very cool. That's a good age for a German short hair pointer. Tater. I hear Buster. I think it's Buster. Is that Buster messing with his food bowl? No. So guys, we've been at it for an hour and 15. There are 51 people in here right now, which I think this might be the best live we've ever had. So I didn't re-announce the winner of the giveaway, but it was Rochelle Phipps. It was the lady that has owned our house before us. So congrats, Rochelle. I will get a hold of her. I've got her text number, and I will get the coffee out to her. I am going to log off. Congrats to our new members. I'm going to do that every month so that we can give away some free membership. I think that's so cool that YouTube allows that. It lets you guys preview it and see what you think, and also get to experience the membership side of things. So it's fun. So we are going to have a relaxing weekend, and we hope you guys do too. I will see you guys again very, very soon. Monday. Monday is a video. And I never know how to close the lives. So there's the X button. Bye, guys. There we go. Bye.